character of that prophecy is made manifestly clear in the following verse. This is the situation as I understand it.
So we should mention this in our tabligh. These verses are beautifully.
If you have no control over the manipulation of this verse, don't mention it. Because it's not a must. Even without mentioning it, you have so many verses over which you have a better control. And that is also a point which must be made very clear. Sometimes a questioner is interested in one small part of the question, and I know that he wants a short answer and that would suffice. But I intentionally enlarge the answer and carry it to a field which was originally not in the mind of the questioner, because I want to lay stress upon something else, which is in my opinion more important for the community to know. This is why, despite the fact that you did not ask this question as I have answered, I wanted this to be answered like this, because it is more important for me that the Ahmadiyya community knows what has been said by Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed and should not convey it in any erroneous manner. If they do it, they will be caught in some snare. Now, here again, although the question is different, I must make it very clear that those who preach should always bear in this mind that it is not within the capability of every wielder of soul to use every type of sword. Every wielder of weapon cannot wield every weapon successfully and with a mastery. If you use a weapon which is very deadly, but you don't know how to use it, it may even be used against you. So when Hadhrat Masih Maud mentions 30 verses whereby the death of Hadhrat Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, can be proved, it is not within the power of every Ahmadi to use the 30 verses to that effect. He should pick and choose only those ones over which he can have mastery quickly and soon and in a better manner, with a better control. Otherwise, I have seen people, when they use these verses, they sometimes fail. It is like the Egyptians in the 56th war, when they were given missiles by the Russians. They were highly sophisticated weapons. Unfortunately for them, they had not yet learned the art of using those missiles. The result was they were captured intact, and in the next war they were used against them, or perhaps in the same war. So you cannot say the weapon was wrong. The correct inference is that every weapon cannot be effectively used by every user of the weapon. So this is a lesson which should be drawn from these things and applied to the war of spiritual debates, religious debates. So this is one of the difficult verses which you have pointed out. And I have seen many Ahmadi scholars falter on this. It is not necessary that you prove the truth of Hadhrat Masih Maud with this verse. If you do not have the complete mastery over it, you will make mistakes and give the opponent an occasion to utilize your missteps, your mistakes, and make it appear as if you have got defeated. I don't say nobody should. I mean only those you should use this verse who have a full control over this, who know the ins and outs, the points of which the enemies generally raise, and who are capable of defending themselves effectively.
Right? On the same verse, sir, it's about is customary in Eastern countries, especially our
All
country.
your time is being taken up.
Well,
Same question. Bashir Yasa, we came to an agreement with you that you ask only 3 questions.
Assalamualaikum.
One sound, yes please.
Hazrat, first a 4-year-old child would like to ask you a question.
A child?
Yes.
Yes please, yes. Go ahead. Make him or her ask a question. Yes please. Now, the child has asked the question, but it reminds me of a saying in the Punjabi, which tells us, "Gunge di boli maa pe nahi sunde." So the mother of the child or the sister of the child should decipher what he has said.
Hazrat, she is saying,
Decode it for us.
Hazrat, she is saying
This she, I see.
Muslim children celebrate birthdays.
Do the Muslim children celebrate birthdays?
Which Muslim children?
She means Ahmadi children.
Does she mean only Ahmadi children or generally the Muslim children?
Or she means Ahmadi children.
Some of them do, but it is wrong. I know many Ahmadi children who celebrate their birthdays, but as a custom to make it a rite, it is not encouraged by Ahmadiyya. Particularly, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani was very much against it. He was against everything which was a blind imitation of the Western culture. And he was very sensitive to any blind imitation. So because it was in fact under the influence of Western culture that the Muslims had started celebrating birthdays, this is why he was against it. And never a birthday was celebrated in our house, as far as I remember, except once in the days of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Salis, for which he gave an explanation in his sermon. And that shows that he knew that something has happened which may be misconstrued, and people may call it a celebration of birthday and start doing it. So he had to explain it in quite some detail why he was doing it, particularly about that child. So leaving that apart, never the birthday of any child was celebrated, to our knowledge, in either the family of Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ or in the families of the companions of Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ. So this is the clean, neat tradition which we have inherited. If the people of younger generation begin to follow these things, they will lead them on to many other things, which ultimately become onerous for the society. So Ahmadiyyat has come to shed these traditions which are meaningless, and they go on adding burden to the people. And it is against the spirit, so I condemn it and I don't like it.
Sir, I have quite a few questions to ask.
Quite a few. So you can't, there's a very narrow space between Mr. Abdul Rashid and Mr. Bashir Hayat. So unfortunately, you can't squeeze into this narrow space with too many questions. So better forgo the right now.
Yes. First question.
Fine?
First question.
No question. No question. Because after him there is to be Mr. Bashir Hayat.
Yes, sir.
And already the time is getting very close to the end time.
You allowed me.
We have no room left at all, unfortunately.
You allowed me, and I came.
He didn't come yesterday, though, and he had one question due already.
But you didn't come yesterday. You missed that opportunity.
Yes, sir.